Hello and welcome back to StarCraft. Today we're going to be jumping right back into the Direct Strike Commanders, complete with a brand new build that any one of you guys can copy. I'm kidding. We're going mass science this time. Science is a kind of counterintuitive build that you would think would not work in any way whatsoever, and that makes it almost to a degree that it's basically a meme here in the Direct Strike community, because you would think that going for mass detectors would not do anything for your team or for yourself or in any way assist in winning your wave, but oh boy, would you be wrong, because mass science is quite strong. It has some serious threat to it, and if the opponents don't react perfectly at the right time, then they're going to be in a really bad way. So let's go ahead and start working up in that direction. Now, for this mass science strategy, we're going to want to get them out as fast as possible, even at the cost of not controlling the middle line. Yes, I still built a Hellbat. Yes, I still marched it across the middle and then gained that little extra resource bonus for my teammates and myself for the first 20 seconds of the match, but we're not going to expect to be doing much after that in terms of actually assisting with the team. For right now, we're just going to be keeping things alive. Yes, we do have a laser drill. In fact, my teammate also has a laser drill, which is helping things out. And it's gonna go a little bit of a ways toward helping, but as you can see here, they're just gonna march across the front, and this is okay. This is planned, because right now we're at tier 2. We've unlocked the science, so let's start getting these guys down. Actually, you know what? Let's wait one more wave and put another refinery down. That way, when the science comes out, we can have more than one, and then we'll have another refinery, so we can have more than two very quickly. Okay. There we go. We're just gonna rely on the base turrets and our laser drills for damage output. We're going mass science. There we go. Beautiful. Let's do it. Okay, so I'm gonna let this next wave spawn, and yeah, we're gonna be fine. As long as we're in no danger of losing the base here, and we are up against a Nova, so they're gonna have a lot of, shall we say, expensive units. Perhaps a few very expensive units to be more accurate. Okay, so we've spawned. We'll be able to get 3 of these guys down all at once. Ooh, looks like they've gone tech level 3. That explains why they haven't gotten much yet. Okay, well that's good for me. So they have detection. They have well, they're gonna have detection, but their unit's gonna be close. We actually need science in order to see them. And well, we have 3 science vessels out, so we can start working on the upgrades for these. Now, the important upgrades are going to be the nano repair, because it, well, removes the energy cost associated with nano repair. So now each one of these guys can heal 13 life per second, which is quite nice. And then we have the defense matrix, which surrounds a targeted allied unit with a shield that protects them for 200 damage. So suddenly we're going from a wave that has no DPS to a wave that also has no DPS but can live forever. And the idea is that we're going to just be a hard wall that kind of blocks everything. It provides support from above for both my singular Hellbat. I could sell them Hellbat off, it wouldn't affect anything. But also for my teammates. It's just gonna kind of, like, the Hellbat's just living for a long time, which is kind of a surprise. I didn't expect to live that long with just 3, but we're working our way up there. And now, look, we've actually won this wave just because we're so tanky that it takes them, that they died to laser drills, which is kind of funny to me. Oh, look how long it's going to take these Dragoons to just get through this single science vessel right here. Just getting punched, and now the allies are coming up, they're getting healed up from their damage, and we've just won this next wave, and my dudes are stacking. Isn't it beautiful? Let's make sure that we keep this going even harder. There we go. If they want to try to take us down, haha! We have more heals coming in now. Eventually, I'm going to want to get up the ship repair, or not the ship repair, the ship armor. That way we can get additional armor and keep the life going for longer. And suddenly we're going from a wave that isn't doing any damage to a wave that's not doing any damage, but also doing a massive damage multiplier to our teammates, which is nice. And we saved it! These guys came over here with the defense matrix and saved it for that much longer. Alright, Hellbat, you have your work cut out for you. Do it! Haha! Hellbat wins. That's... oh dear. Okay, so there's one ability that I didn't mention. It's usually not that important. The Irradiate. What it does is it targets an enemy and casts Irradiate on it, which deals 80 damage at 10 damage per second to a target and all targets near it. So it's kind of a slow but somewhat damaging death, especially against units like Zerg, where you see if we cast Irradiate on the center Hydralisk and it's dealing the extra damage to the Hydras on the side. It can really start to stack up pretty nicely when we have a lot of science available to us, and we just make a radioactive wasteland here. Against Nova, it's not that important because all the units are, well, half of them aren't biological, but the half that are biological don't have a whole lot of vulnerability to such minor amounts of AoE. Like this thing has 1,000 HP. There's no amount of radiation is going to finish this off. This Marauder Commando has 3,500 HP, or 300, why can't I speak? 350 HP, there we go. Might as well have 3,000 HP for the amount of damage it's taking. Look at the Hellbat's still alive. Isn't it great? Looks like we just got feedback. High Archons have feedback, which means all of my science vessels have no more energy. Thankfully, the nano repair doesn't take energy, so that's not going to do a whole lot to us. It will slow us down, but will not actually finish us off. Science vessels tend to not carry a lot of energy, and they do have a fair amount of HP, so they're not going to die to the feedback, but it will mean that they're going to take get a little bit of efficiency off of it. So now is the time when we start actually getting units of our own. So we're going to transition from just assisting the team to actually blowing away everything in front of us. And I'm going to do that by going to tier 3 and getting the biggest units available to me, namely the Thor. Actually, is Thor the appropriate answer here? Nope. Let's not do that. Let's go for Cyclones. Cyclones are one of the higher DPS units available in the game, period. And we're going to be getting them and fielding them against Nova. Because while Nova is sitting here trying to futilely take down a single science vessel, we're just going to have Cyclones sitting in the back, blowing everything away with their ranged destruction. So the reason why Cyclones do so much damage is because they have the lock-on ability, which deals 500 damage over 14 seconds, which is kind of a lot. And we can get the upgrade for that, which I'm not going to get right now because I can get one more Cyclone down. But we can get the upgrade for that, which I'm going to get right now, as soon as the wave spawns, which causes lock-on to deal an additional 50% damage, which is kind of a lot. So it's going to go from Cyclones dealing a large amount of damage to an even larger amount of damage, with the science vessels keeping them alive. Cyclone's not exactly the most tanky thing in the game, but when you have this many science vessels that can keep one Hellbat alive against an entire Nova wave and then some, then, well, Cyclones go from being just destructive to destructive and everlasting. And now we're gonna have to just watch Nova die horribly. It's gonna be great. Oh dear. There we go. Come on, move them away. How many Cyclones do you have left? Just 2. They will lock on and start doing these damage here. Now, these High Archons do have the Guardian Shell on them, so they'll be able to survive the lock on, but they'll die eventually. Especially once the team shows up. Many more Cyclones coming out here. Very good. Look, we still have a Cyclone alive, and he's just gonna be doing his thing. So much science. I should get some more science, actually. My team appears to be doing very well with the whole stacking thing. I think my teammates noticed that I'm going for mass science, probably because I told them, and he's just building things that stack very well with mass science, namely Ares and Thors, which are some of the tankiest units, or they are actually the tankiest units available to spawn. And now we're just gonna sit on their base, and they're not gonna be able to get us off. Like, there's nothing they can do. We have far too many science vessels sitting here. And GG. Alright, and now we're off to round 2. We're going to be doing the same tactic here. Now, it is important to mention that there are certain commanders that we face that we just have to immediately switch off and hope that they don't notice that we've spent a lot of extra time trying to go for science, because they could just straight up hard counter this. Now, those commanders specifically would be things like Tychus, because he just has a ridiculous amount of single target damage and will never be able to scale enough to get off the ground. Another commander would be Zagara, because Zagara's Scourge. They just kind of wipe over everything in the sky, bar none. Another one is actually Vorazun, which we see here starting in the first position, because they have the Corsairs. Corsairs which do splash damage versus light, which our science vessels are light, and we really, really don't want to have all of our science vessels just blown away by a couple of the Corsairs. So, unless we have those opponents here, we could just straight start going for science and do things very, very well. Looks like we're going to be up against this Zerg player here. Is that a Swarm Queen? I think I saw a Swarm Queen. That means we are going to be up against Abathur, who is super vulnerable to this. In fact, more vulnerable than most. Like, you see here we have the Vile Roach. He's going against the Hellbat. The Hellbat will only win because it has a laser drill helping it out. But one thing that makes, well, Zerg in particular, especially something so swarmy as Abathur, so vulnerable to science isn't actually the tankiness of the science vessels, it is the irradiates. Once we get enough irradiates available, we can completely just decimate everything on the field, because everything Zerg has is biological. And you can just watch it all collapse. They try to go mutas, that's not going to work very well at all. Let's go ahead and get this next refinery up, and then we'll start spamming down the science next wave. Oh, those high Archons. They do terrible, terrible damage to us. Fortunately, Tychus is very good at dealing with them. Now, the question I have here, is Tychus going to clean up enough of my wave so that I can actually win it? The answer is... yes? I think? Yes. Yes, Vile Roach will die to our laser death drill. Alright, time to get the science going. I'm gonna hold off on that for a moment, just so if we get scanned, he doesn't see me. I like to wait till the last 10 seconds, if possible, to start putting my things down. But there's no reason I couldn't start putting them down right now, other than I don't want to. Our Dihaka friend is not doing... he's doing sneaky shenanigans right now. Oh dear. Oh dear, those are Dark Templar. Fortunately, we don't have to deal with them just yet. Fortunately, we won't have to deal with them at all, because they hit ground things and we are in the sky, away from all of the non-science. Put you 3 down, and get our 3 abilities. No particular order, just auto-cast them all. We will have the energy for it. Tychus should win this, right? Those storms are actually pretty brutal. Oh dear, I need this Archon gone so it doesn't feedback me. Okay, feedback dangerous. Won't actually kill our science vessels, but will slow us down, and I really don't want to be slowed down like this. Okay, so now we will actually have a legitimate 1v1. There will be nothing to stop my wave from hitting theirs. Oh, and there are the Mutalisks, and that is a mistake. There go the defensive matrices, and suddenly these Mutalisks will do 0 damage whatsoever. Our Hellbat will be healed faster than the Swarm Queen can deal damage, and now we are stacking it. It's time for more science. Alright, they brought the Dark Templar out. They are both irradiated and seen by our detectors. This is how we do it, boys. So yes, Dihaka is not able to be healed by our science, but he is able to be helped with the defensive matrix, and all the units that are biological on the opponent's side can be shut down by the Irradiate, or at least damaged heavily by the Irradiate. Irradiate is one of these interesting abilities where it really doesn't deal much damage on its own, but once it stacks up with other units, then it can seriously just obliterate everything. I should leave one science vessel in front. That way all the Mutalisks all fly into the stack. Yeah, let me do that kind of bait. I'm curious to see how long this Hellbat's going to be living. Eventually he's going to figure out that he can build more units than just a couple roaches, and actually be able to kill off my Hellbat. He hasn't figured it out just yet, but I'm sure he will sooner or later. I'm sure my Dihaka friend is happy that we're providing detection here. Stalker's actually not good versus science vessels at all. Turns out Stalkers don't deal that much damage versus non-armored targets. So the whole healing thing that these guys do will kind of heal really, really quickly and stop the Stalkers dead in their tracks for a long while. Alright, one more. There we go. Alright, very good. Keep that going. And all of the feedback monsters have been destroyed. Let's get our next refinery online, if possible. There we go. I meant to rearrange this. Let me go ahead and rearrange this while I can. Before our wave shows up, how much of our team did we rescue? Oh, we rescued the Crooked Sam, which is actually super good, because he has a decent amount of damage. And he will regenerate himself slowly. So as long as he stays alive, we should be able to have a good amount of DPS here at the wave. And so when the Warzone wave shows up, we should be able to... Nope, he just died to the Dark Netfire. This is, I suppose, not too big of a surprise. I should have seen that one coming. But look how long it takes these Stalkers to deal any damage to the Science Vessels. They haven't actually touched them at all, which is not a surprise, because Stalkers don't have that much in the way of damage output. Stalkers' whole thing is that they stay alive for a long time and slowly deal damage over time. Science Vessels, kind of the antithesis of that, and that they stay alive for a long time and specialize in staying alive for an even longer time. Let's get another Science Vessel out. There we go. And it is almost time for us to progress into dealing actual damage ourselves. So while all of these Archons are busy firing away at the Science... Is he seriously going for more mutas? This doesn't work very well. Well, at least all the mutas are stacked up now, and they're all going to aggro into this one and then die in a radioactive ball with pain and suffering. I mean, I guess that's his prerogative if he wants to do that. Alright, well, I mean, whatever makes him happy. I just like watching them live forever. Isn't it fun? I'm having fun with this and you guys can't tell. Alright, I think I need to start actually dealing some damage here. Instead of going tier 3, let's instead build a bunch of siege tanks. Because while the singular Hellbat lives forever, we can have siege tanks that sit around and just shell everything into the oblivion. Lord knows it's going to take more than just a couple of units to bring down these Swarm Queens. Additionally, the Cyclones would do really well versus those pseudo-heroic Queens. The Queens of the Biomass, I mean, 600 HP and massive amounts of regeneration and can heal each other. Gonna need a little bit more than just a couple of units to bring that down. Siege tanks work really well. Additionally, siege tanks work well at stacking with the team, which is kind of the whole point of these Science Vessels. We stack with the team and help everyone out. So that's another reason to go siege tanks, but I probably do want to get at least a couple Cyclones, maybe like 5, just to deal with the Swarm Queens. Not that the heavy shelling of the siege tanks won't help with the Swarm Queens, but just a little bit harder of a counter. Here we go. Oh, yeah, Dark Templar on top of siege tanks. That's painful. It's very painful. Minimum range! Oh, good. Science Vessels kept 3 of them alive. Neat! Okay, are these in range of the turret? Oh, just barely not in range, but they'll get rid of everything else. Those poor Stalkers, they try to blink away and become invisible. Siege tanks have a lot of range. Also, they can see the invisible things because the science is here. Let's get a couple of you guys right here. 3 and 4. Can I get 4? No, it's not going to happen. Let's get the mag field accelerator. And also siege tank damage. I still have siege tanks alive? I guess I shouldn't really be surprised. Irradiate. Oh, they have no energy left. Those are going to be some very, very dead Science Vessels. Oh dear. Alright, this is fine. Siege tanks about to expire, being healed up. And this is one very, very dead photon cannon. No chance. I'm stacking with myself. It's not even stacking with teammates at this point. I'm just stacking with myself and running over everyone. Ooh, Void Rays. Now that could be a problem. If they did any reasonable amount of damage to non-armored targets, that would be a problem. Cyclones deal very well with Void Rays. Void Rays deal very well with Cyclones, but fortunately we have Science Vessels that Void Rays don't deal well with, and they will kind of end everything in terms of Void Rays. He's nowhere near Void Ray capacity. In order to deal with this as Warzone, you need a lot of Corsairs, and he doesn't have them yet. He was too busy cleaning up everything else, namely my teammate. And suddenly he has a bunch of Science Vessels from me that his teammate was supposed to deal with, and that didn't work out at all. And now those mutas are taking a heavy amount of damage. They managed to survive that long through the Irradiate because the Abathur used his active heal ability, which heals up all of them and will save the Mutalisk from the radioactive death. Unfortunately, it won't save the base from the Tychus units. The Warzone might. Warzone does, actually. But now I'm here. Let's see how well I fare against Warzone, who has no Corsairs! You need Corsairs, friend, or else this is going to end very, very horribly for you. And I have nothing but a single line of tanks here. Well, at least we can clear everything out except for Void Rays. And now Dahaka is here and he'll clean everything else out. There we go. Come on, we can do it. Alright, now this is where things are to start getting dicey for us, with the feedback combined with the storm. Let's get more science. More science, because I like science. We go here, there we go. Get the siege tank, start adding up. I think I need to get a couple of the Goliaths out in order to deal with the Void Rays more consistently. Ooh. those Tychus, you madman, just cleaning up all of those mutas. That's kind of satisfying to watch, actually. Alright, now Devours deal splash damage, yes, but Abathur needs to do something different. They're the Corsairs. Now I need to really start dealing with the Corsairs, because they'll clean out my science vessels pretty quickly. Fortunately, I have anti-air. I do need some more anti-air, though, but I think we'll just win here. Especially if we get a couple lock-ons onto the base. Yeah. Goodbye. GG. Get scienced. Alright guys, if you want to see more strategies just like this one and all the craziness involved, make sure to stop by the community Discord and let me know which ones you want to see next. But for now, I'll see you guys later.